Hey, what's up, Agents for Life? Welcome to podcast number 235. We are talking once again this week out of the book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. T. Harv Eker. Great stuff. If you haven't read it, you need to. It talks a lot about the psychology of a successful person. Before I jump in, though, friendly reminder Dallas, Texas in July. I'm not going to say anything else. If you've been listening to this, the seats are going to go and you're going to be bad. You're going to feel bad if you don't come. So you've got to get yourself there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, email me. But July 22nd, Dallas, hope to see you there. Okay, enough said about that. Let's jump in. Not going to talk about my week. I had a crazy week between the holiday, some family stuff, and then a church outing that took me out for a day and a half. Not great production, I'm going to be honest with you. And I actually had, this does happen. So if you look at my calendar, I had one, two, three, four, five, six appointments today. Technically seven, but all no-shows. I had a full day of no-shows. I hope that I'm not discouraging you by telling you that even after 5 years, you can also have a full day of no-shows. But I'm just being real with you. We don't sugarcoat things around here, but I can tell you this, I've been in here long enough, didn't even phase me. I know next week's going to be awesome because that's how it works. You have a good week, you have a bad week, it all mixes in together. We're here for the long term, right? We're not here just for 1 week. 1 week doesn't make or break us. So if you had a bad week, recommit. Next week's going to be awesome. That's the way I think about it. Speaking of thinking, mindset is so much of this game, and not even just the insurance game, the game of success in general. We're all pursuing success. We're all starting our businesses. We're all trying to succeed, right? So T. Harv Eker talks a lot about the millionaire mind. So he has specifically verbiage around creating wealth and making money. And I'm going to just insert the word success into there because I like it better. I think it's a little bit more than just money, but it's what you can do with influence and with success in general, because success has to do with you becoming a different person. Money is more the natural result that comes from that. So I'm going to just use when I quote, I'm going to use the word success instead of the word wealth or millionaire or whatever. So in the second part of his book, this is part two from last week. If you didn't hear last week's, go back and catch the previous episode. A lot of great stuff. But part two is the whole rest of the book. And it's 17, it's called Wealth Files. And these are little psychologies. I'm just going to go through six of them today, the first six. And I might do the rest later. I might not. I don't know. If I move on to something else, you're going to have to get the book and read the rest because all 17 are great. But I only have time for six. So these are little mini psychologies, little small ways that successful people think differently than everybody else, than other people that aren't successful. So these are called the wealth files. Maybe I'll call them the success files because I like that. And he starts talking about awareness and how important even just the awareness is of us being aware of our thoughts and how we see things and how we respond to circumstances and things that happen. Wealth file number one: rich people believe I create life. Poor people believe life happens to me. So that's kind of a way that you can see the definite difference between I create, in other words, it's within my control, and then an unsuccessful person saying, well, life just happens to me. I'm a what? Victim, right? Life happens to me. I am the victim. So we don't want to fall into that category. Definitely want to take the initiative. We want to live life intentionally where we are the creators. And it starts right here. So tell yourself, I create success. It just doesn't happen to me. That's the first wealth principle, the first wealth file, I guess they call it. But here's a little bit more on that topic. What we focus on expands. So what are you focused on? I thought that was a really great point that they make. Here's another example. Complainers. Okay, you've been around them. Maybe you are around them. Maybe you are one. Hopefully not. Maybe you are one. Hey, you know what? We're here. We're honest. If you are one, raise your hand, but let's fix it, right? So they say, of course I complain. Look how crappy my life is. And then he says, actually, it's because you complain that your life is so crappy. Not, look how, anyways, you know what I just said. The complaining is what generates the results. You get more of what you attract. So I love that. What you focus on expands. If you're a complainer, you're going to get more of that. You're going to draw that back in. You're going to attract it back into yourself. Um, if you haven't taken on a challenge yet, I'm going to challenge you. Stop complaining. 7 days, no complaining, whatever. Do a fast, a complaining fast. Wealth file number 2. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game to not lose. Almost sounds the same, but if you think about it, it's very different. So poor people play defense. There's a game that I play. It's called chair soccer. I don't know if you played it. Everybody gets a chair. We're all in a big circle, and we're all trying to knock everybody else's chair down. And it's interesting to see how some people play. Some people, they leave their chair behind because that's the other goal, is to keep yours, block yours while hitting everybody else's. Well, when you leave yours, you leave your chair unattended and you're vulnerable. So do you play offense and go attack everybody else's chair, or do you just stand around? And you can see when some people play, they just hover at their own chair and they play defense the whole time. They're just there to defend their chair, but they're not going to go after someone else's. Well, wealthy people, successful people play offense. They go attack, right? The Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, they don't become great by only playing defense. All right, so you got to play offense. That was a great point. So that's wealth file number 2. Number 3, rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people want to be poor. Law of attraction, right? The number one reason most people don't get what they want is they don't know what they want. They've never really thought about it. They've never really spent time articulating or thinking about where they want to be next month, next quarter, next year. We first create everything in our mind before it becomes a reality. And if you haven't spent much time thinking and visualizing what you want in your future out of life, you need to start making that a habit. There's 3 different levels on this. Number 1, I want to be successful. I want to be successful. Oh, that's nice, right? That's nice. In other words, you might as well say, I'll take it if it falls in my lap. If success just happens across my path, then yeah, I'll accept it. Because that's saying the same thing. I want to be rich. Well, of course you want to be successful. Number 2, I choose to be successful. All right, that's certainly a level up, right? So I choose to be successful. But then the third one, and this is the great one, if you can get here, I commit to being successful. Okay, choose, that's good, but commit, that's so much stronger. Our words are so powerful, especially the ones you say to yourself. So I commit to being successful. No excuses, right? I commit. That's powerful. Sometimes that might be a little intimidating for some of us. Okay, so that's number 3. Actually, a quick quote before I wrap this one up. Until one is committed, okay, this is from W.H. Murray. Till one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidences, meetings, material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would ever come his way. Things start happening. And you know what's interesting about that is the rest of us call it luck. We look at that and say, oh, that person's lucky. Stuff just happened. Well, you know what? There's stuff behind those happenings. And commitment is certainly a huge part of that. Success file number 4. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. Magic of thinking big, right? Dr. David Schwartz, great book. You'll be paid in direct proportion according to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. So wealthy people, successful people, they're thinking big. They're thinking in terms of thousands of people or millions of people. Okay. Unsuccessful people think the opposite. They're playing small. They're thinking onesies and twosies, right? And there's really only a couple of reasons why we choose to play small. Number one, we're scared of failure. So we stay small because we know if we go big, we might fail. So we're scared of that. And I think that's a very natural human thing. But number two, we feel unworthy, right? That could be imposter syndrome. We don't feel like we're good enough. We feel like everyone else is a lot more successful than we are. We don't have anything we can offer of value to the world. We belittle ourselves and we play small because that's the expectation that we give to ourselves. Isn't that interesting? So play big. Stop playing small. Change the world. Make big, lofty goals and then go after them. I love this quote from Marianne Williamson. She says, "You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." Isn't that powerful? It's one of my favorite quotes. I love that. Okay. Wealth file number five. We're on number five now. We got one more after this. So hang with me. Number five, rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Whoa, right? Isn't that true? We see all the reasons why we can't do something, all the excuses, obstacles. Wealthy people, they see, or successful people, see the opportunities. Okay, so three different mindsets here. Wealthy, or the unsuccessful people, the poor people, it says that they'll look at something and say it won't work. Middle class, he says, say, I sure hope this works. They're working on hope, right? Hopium, it's a drug that it's not good for you. We hope things will work out. Well, the better way of phrasing it is, I'll make it work. That's a successful person. That's a successful mentality. Not, it won't work. That's just negative. Or, I hope it works. I guess that's kind of positive, but there's no power in it. I'll make it work, whatever the cost. There's power. That's where successful people think. That's number five. Couple more things on this. Focus on making money and creating success and creating wealth, not focus on spending your money. So he says, if wealthy people focus on creation, on wealth creation, they don't focus on spending. Poor people focus on spending. And they talk about that too. So, how much time have you spent on a $20 decision? I know I am guilty of it, or even a decision between two things. You're looking at buying on Amazon. Well, you spend a half an hour deliberating. A wealthy person would say, well, what could I have done in that half an hour? I could have made $100 or $200 or whatever they're worth, whatever they're hourly. So why would I want to spend 20 minutes deliberating over a $5 decision? Just get like the difference in the way they think is what makes them successful. Well, file number 6. Okay. This is the last one, and then we're going to wrap up here. Rich people admire other rich people and successful people. Other poor people resent rich people and successful people. Did you grow up with some of those phrases, filthy rich, and some of those other things where we talk and kind of give a negative connotation to what wealth can do? Well, yeah, there are people in the world that are sour because of the money. And there are poor people that are sour and unsuccessful people that also are sour because they don't have money and miserable, right? And so it's all kinds. Wealth is a great amplifier. It amplifies who you are inside. If you're a good person, you're going to be a good person. And the opposite is also true. So anyways, those are some of the and I just skimmed the surface. There's a lot more in depth if you want to get in and read. I may or may not do the rest. There's 17 of those. Those are the first 6. But guys, I'm telling you, if you want to be a successful person, you've got to start by thinking differently. And you have to catch yourself on your own thoughts. And that's the hard part because nobody else gets to hear your thoughts. Nobody else can call you out on your crap because it happens in here quietly in the dark. and no one is exposed to that world except for you. So you have to take ownership. It's one of our core values is your mentality, a mental toughness, right? So I'm going to challenge all of you this week to pay attention to how you think and how you respond. And if you slow down enough to look at things and pay attention, you'll probably start feeling the negative and the smallness of thinking one way and the empowerment and the energy that you'll receive by thinking a completely different way. Little by little, we're going to make a huge difference in your life. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're with us. I'm glad you're sacrificing and going through this. Thanks for being on the team. Put some of this into practice, and let's make this week even better than last week.